Well, hi there.
How you doing?
We're just checking in because we've been getting so much feedback from our community about our recent blog and podcast on how to be more present. And today we just thought we would check in with you. We'd come on and give you some tips for being more present with your kids or your grandkids.
Yeah, or we're going to be present with you.
Yes, exactly. So the reason that we're doing this is that it's so hard. I mean, we have had our own struggles, certainly as entrepreneurs with so many heavy business responsibilities that it's hard to balance work and home. Have you guys struggled with that? I know that it's really hard sometimes to really keep that balance. And I remember one time when my daughter was small and I was home, I was off work, and I wasn't really there. You know, I was there physically, but I wasn't there mentally. Can you relate to that? You've got so much going on in your mind from work that happens.
Yeah, I think that we and it's not work, it's activities for the kids. We're busy rushing them to and from. We're not really even in the car with them, and we're dropping them off at piano or dance or sports, and we're not there. And I think it's important for us to just stop. And that's the first thing I think to being present is just stopping what you're doing and look them in the face and talk to them.
Right.
Talk to them specifically about what's going on with their day, what they're doing, what they're up to. So I think it's important to, the first thing to do is stop.
And I know to fix this problem in our own lives is we had to stop. We needed to become aware that we're even doing this. And then really be intentional about making a change, that you want to be more present in your life, not just with yourself. That's important too, with your spouse, but really importantly with your kids. So that's what we did in working in our own life to be more present. And now our kids are grown, and just last week we were able to take our grandkids for the week. Their parents had some other obligations, and we said, you know what, we'll take the kids. And it doesn't matter if it's your kids or your nieces and nephews or your grandkids. For every relationship that you have to be present and you have to be intentional about it, because if you're not, that relationship's just not going to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we're going to be present, what else can we do?
Well, one of the things that we found out last week that was helpful is just really setting some limits around the electronics. And you may have participated in our digital detox that we did recently. And that was just, we all get addicted to our devices, and just really being committed to getting off your device. And you have to help your kids do that too. And grandkids do that too.
They love the TV. They love their phones. Their whatever those little devices are. I don't even remember what they called them. They were fighting over. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. But one of the things that our daughter has done, and maybe we'd love to hear some tips from you guys too, but one of the things our daughter did, and you can do now with the phones, is you can actually put boundaries on the screen time. So our grandkids now have just a set amount of time every day they can be on their electronics, and that's it. It literally shuts off.
Right, that was great.
I loved that. I didn't know about that. Maybe we need to do that for ourselves.
I think it would be a great idea.
Yeah, just literally shut off the device. So what are some things that we did last week to just really be present?
Well, I think one of the first things we did is we asked them what they wanted to do, and we did that. So it wasn't necessarily our first choice to spend all day, every day in a pool and playing catch. But, that's what they wanted to do, so that's what we did.
Right, and you can't have your electronics when you're in a pool, or you couldn't be checking email or doing any of those work things that pull at us. So activities, especially it's summer right now, and you spent hours with the kids in the pools. Bravo about that. And that's something that really you're present because you're together, you're in the swimming pool together. So that was a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was things that they wanted to do. So, another one is they wanted ice cream.
Yes.
I mean, it's tough to twist my arm, but I went and got ice cream every single day with them.
And this is the thing about being the grandparents, is that we could actually go get ice cream every day for them and not feel guilty,
Right.
because we could just spoil them.
Yeah.
So that's good. But you know what? I remember my mom taking me for ice cream when I was a little kid, and she would suggest it or I would ask for it, but she was always willing to go. And I didn't realize until later that she was the one who wanted the ice cream.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She had a sweet tooth, and so we were both enjoying that one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what else. Oh, another thing that they wanted to do is, and this is kind of crazy, it seemed like, because I know that we didn't do this as kids, but we were out in the San Juan Islands. Beautiful place. Any of you been out there? If you haven't, you absolutely, the San Juans are in the Pacific Northwest, and there's over 300 islands out there. It's absolutely amazing. Our kids have been boating since they were little. And one of the things that the kids wanted to do is go to the oyster farm that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to do that a day. And you know what the kids learned how to do, and we were all very present in this, you had to be, is they learned how to shuck oysters and loved every minute of it. I mean, even the 7-year-old was
Right.
there with the oyster, and we had a woman come out and show them how to do it. And you hold the oyster in one hand and you've got a cloth over it to protect you from the sharp edges, and they had a tool that they got the oyster out with.
And nobody stabbed themselves.
No, but you had to be very focused and present to get the oyster out of its shell. And they did that. They were mesmerized by that. And they loved it. All
They
three
did.
of them thought that was great. So, and I'm not a live oyster fan, or raw oyster, I should say, fan. You are.
Oh, yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
But
that
they're
was-
not cheap dates.
No, they're not. They're not cheap dates, that's for sure. So, and then, like I said, I'm not a raw oyster fan, but I had my cheese and crackers and a glass of cold wine while the kids were doing that, and we were all present together. It was really fun. So finding those experiences, and that was definitely a highlight of the trip when we talked about that afterwards.
For all of us, that was a great time. And you know, Westcott Bay Oysters is where we were at, and they've done an incredible job just transforming the property and the buildings and the farm itself. It's a whole lot of fun. You definitely should do that if you can. Probably going to take 2 months to get a reservation.
Right,
It's
right.
packed.
Yeah,
So
really a great
make
great
sure to
spot.
plan ahead.
Yeah, awesome business. Always love to give a shout out. So to Westcott, they do such a great job out there. Another tip for really being present with your kids, you talked about letting them choose what they want to do. If you have more than one child, make sure you're giving each one of them an opportunity to decide what it is that they would like to do, so that you're mixing that up a little bit. And then we did a really wonderful family activity, which is very simple. You can just do this at home, is having a movie night and taking turns choosing the movie. And we saw a great movie. It was based on a true story.
Kurt Warner's life story. Was it Underdog? The Underdog.
Yeah, The Underdog. An awesome family movie if you guys haven't seen it. And of course, our boys just love football. So they thought that was really great.
Yeah, no, that was fun. And I think you actually chose that movie. So they didn't pick that.
no, they didn't pick it, but I knew it was something that they would love.
Right.
I knew it was something that they would love. We had a friend recommend it to us and just said, oh, watch this one with your kids. It's really good. Because there's so many out there now that just aren't great. So we picked that together, and we were all very present. And then we talked about the movie afterwards and what we liked about it. And that was fun.
And every day, every night, we played games.
Yes.
Whether it was Dutch Blitz or Cover Your Assets, or
Right.
I guess those were the two we played.
Mainly. Yeah, that was
Yahtzee,
fun.
too.
Oh, Yahtzee. Got to play some Yahtzee. So playing games with the kids is a great way to be present with them. I tried to get them to be interested in coloring with me and doing things like that.
Reading a book,
They're boys. Yeah, it just wasn't going to work. So
fishing, getting nets out and going and trying to chase shrimp and fish in the docks.
Right.
That's more their style.
yeah, and I would definitely say that a tip, especially in the summertime, though this can be done anytime, but it's easiest in the summertime as you really can get outside and do those outdoor activities. And when you're doing something fun outdoors, that really is an opportunity to be present with them. So
something we did at home, and it was forced obviously when we're all just out by ourselves, but we would stop at dinner time and everybody had to put all of their devices away and not be at the dinner table, and we all had to, we all would just talk and be there. And so that was a big way we could be present with our kids just as they were growing up.
Right. Another way to just start conversation, I don't know, as you're listening to this, if you have kids their ages, but sometimes, especially as they get into those teenage years, and depending what kind of mood that they're in, they aren't conversationalists. They don't really want to talk. So something that we've done that we found that's been really helpful is we play the question game. And that's really worked with our kids, and we've really gotten to know them better, both our kids and our grandkids, where you take turns, however many of you there are, and you think of a question, any question that everybody has to then answer the question to. And it can be simple as, what's the favorite place that you've been on vacation? What was your favorite style of shoe? Because our kids love their shoes. What else?
Favorite color, favorite food, just anything that, teacher.
Right. Yeah.
So just different things that.
And even deeper questions of what's been your biggest learning this year, or what's hard right now. So we've gotten into some really deep conversations, and the kids have asked some really great questions of us too.
Even the 7-year-old.
Yes.
Very curious and really good questions, insightful.
Right.
Surprising.
Yes. So those are some ideas. Anything else we want to leave them with before?
One of the things I try to do is just make sure I text. I know it's a phone again, but I try and text every one of my kids all the time and make sure that, just to see how they're doing, what they're doing, and where they're at. So
right.
They're scattered about. They're working. They're going to school. Whatever they're doing. So it's not as easy to just walk over and say, "Hey, what's up?" So
yes. And I have a client who has a son who's not real responsive to that, but yet he knows. And I think there are stages in your kid's life where they're going to try to pull away from you a little bit. And we found that for sure as our kids were growing up, and there's times that they pull away, but when you keep doing those connections with them, like you say, the text, just checking in, just saying, thinking about you, love you. I do Marco Polo with our girls who don't live here and are grown now. And even just those type of contacts can be really nice as a way to touch base with each other, especially if you're on a different time zone.
So constant badgering is what you're saying.
No, that you do that, but anyway, so
I think that's
good.
Those are some pretty good tips.
Yes. So what can you do today? I hope you've gotten a pearl or two or an idea that you haven't used. What can you do today to actually implement in your life to be more present with your kids in those most important relationships? And please share some ideas with us. We will, if you share tips with us, we will share them with our community, and let's get it out there. Let's really work on being more present with our kids and those most important relationships in our lives, because you and I know that it makes such a difference when we make the time for the people that are most important to us. So let's commit to being more present together. You guys have a great day.
Bye.